Muhammad bin Abdelkarim El Khattabi, the forgotten Moroccan hero. In a few countries, you can find people who have fought for the freedom and independence of their countries, are almost forgotten by their people and seldom, if any, talked about in the mainstream media. In countries like Egypt or Turkey, people, the media and cinema industry always celebrate their glorious past as well as their national heroes, such as the case of Kemal Atatürk for Turkey and Jamal Abdel Nasser for Egypt. Yet in Morocco, this tradition does not exist. We barely see, if ever, any TV programs talking about Morocco's glorious past, its critical role in safeguarding the presence of Islam in Al-Andalus until the end of the 15th century, its role in spreading Islam in Africa, or the sacrifice made by our ancestors to fight for our country's independence. The same neglect of our past applies to cinema, as there has been so far no movie or soap opera produced by Morocco regarding our country's past. We have to wait until Lebanese, Syrians or Egyptian produce a soap opera about in Andalus, for example, to be able to appraise the role our country played in the spread of Islam in this area of Europe and in keeping it alive until the fall of Granada in 1492. Unfortunately, the same oblivion affects one of the most emblematic heroes in Morocco's history, namely Muhammad bin Abdelkarim El Khattabi, the leader of the Rifian resistance against Spanish rule in northern Morocco. With rudimentary means, Abdelkarim El Khattabi fiercely resisted Spanish colonialism and became a venerated figure in many countries that were subjected to colonialism. Through the guerrilla tactics he adopted, he set an example for resistance to colonial power and showed oppressed people in the colonies that it was possible to defeat the colonizer, or at least to inflict heavy losses on them. His guerrilla tactics are known to have influenced Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong, and Che Guevara. Abdelkarim El Khattabi was born in 1882 in Ajdir in the Reef region in northern Morocco, where he received a traditional education. He subsequently studied in Tehran, later finishing at the Qarawiyyin University in Fez. Upon completion of his studies in 1906, he settled in Melilla, a Spanish enclave in northern Morocco, where he worked as a teacher and translator. He also worked as a journalist for the Spanish newspaper. He was fluent in Spanish and Arabic before becoming the fiercest opponent of Spanish rule in northern Morocco, especially in the Reef area. Abdelkarim first worked closely and coexisted with the Spaniards until the end of World War I, when he, his brother, and his father discovered the real colonialist and expansionist intention of Spanish rule in Morocco. Alarmed by the Spaniards' plans to subject Moroccans in the north to their inflation when الكريم El Khattabi decided to stage an organized armed struggle in order to put an end to Spanish penetration in northern Morocco. In July 1921, Abdelkarim El Khattabi inflicted a historic defeat on the Spanish soldiers, who were led by the arrogant General Manuel Fernandez Silvestre. The general never took the warning of Abdelkarim El Khattabi seriously and thought that he was going to crush his resistance in a matter of hours. To the general's dismay, and after he had successfully attacked a sizable number of Spanish outposts in late June, on July 22, 1921, Abdelkarim El Khattabi launched his assault on the Spanish outposts located at Anwar. After 3 weeks of fierce battles at Anwar, and thanks to their troops' knowledge of the field and their unheard of courage, 14,000 Spaniards perished in tragic conditions, while the rest of the Spanish garrisons were forced to retreat to Melilla. General Silvestre perished during the fighting, although the cause of his death has never been determined. Some say he died during the fighting, and others say that he committed suicide. After its crushing defeat and up until 1926, Spain used lethal force several times against the defenseless population of the Reef. Many scholars, such as Sebastian Balfour and Maria Rosa de Madariaga, have concluded that Spain used chemical weapons and toxic gas against the ravens, though chemical weapons were banned by the Treaty of Versailles of 1919, which Spain had signed.